I found a love for me. Darling, just dive right in, follow my lead. Well, I found a boy, beautiful and sweet. Oh, I never knew you were the someone waiting for me. 'Cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time, but darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes you're holding mine. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath, but you heard it. Darling, you look perfect tonight. I found a man stronger than anyone I know. He shares my dreams. I hope that someday I'll share his home. I found a lover to carry more than just my secrets, to carry love, to carry children of our own. We are still kids, but we're so in love, fighting against all odds. I know we'll be alright this time. Darling, just hold my hand. Be your girl, you'll be my man. I see my future in your eyes. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. I have faith in what I see. Now I know I have met an angel in person, and he looks perfect. I don't deserve this. You look perfect tonight.
There goes my heart beating, 'cause you are the reason I'm losing my sleep. Please come back now. There goes my mind racing, and you are the reason that I'm still breathing. I'm hopeless now. I'd climb every mountain and swim every ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken. Oh, 'cause I need you to see that you are the reason. There goes my hands shaking, If I could turn back the clock and make sure the light defeated the dark, I'd spend every hour of every day keeping you safe. I'd climb every mountain and swim every ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken. Oh, 'cause I need you to see that you are the reason. You are the reason. I need you to hold me tonight. I'd climb every mountain and swim every ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken. 'Cause I need you to see that you are the reason. All I want is nothing more to hear you knocking at my door. 'Cause if I could see your face once more, I could die a happy man, I'm sure. When you said your last goodbye, I died a little bit inside. I lay in tears in bed all night, alone without you by my side. But if you loved me, why'd you leave me? Take my body, take my body. All I want is, and all I need is to find somebody. I'll find somebody like you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine. For those of you who are new here, this is just a lifestyle channel about me and my family, which includes myself and my 2 boys. And Marco, pictured here, who passed away this January 2019 from a fatal car accident. And today is November 20th, 2019. It has now been 10 months since he passed away, and today is actually what we would be celebrating as our 10th anniversary. If you follow me on Instagram, this video is going to be a Q&A. I had you guys submit questions on Instagram, and I got a lot of the same ones, so I'm gonna kind of address all of them little by little. I'm not gonna lie, I have been very emotional today. Actually, the last few days have been very emotional and going through a lot, and I'm not gonna promise that I'm not gonna cry in this video, because there's a chance that I may. I've gotten really good at being able to control a lot of my emotions in front of people, even you guys. This is my son right here. he's being nosy and wants to jump in here. But I was trying to make this video more about just me and Daddy and not the kids, you know, but Marquitos does want to come say hi. Come here. Oh, jump.
Hi, buddy.
Say hello.
Hello.
Say happy anniversary, Mom
Happy
and Dad.
anniversary, Mom and Dad.
Oh, brother woke up. We will be right back. And we met the summer of 2009 at Bagduma Park, which is one of our local parks in Coachella. I actually lived in Coachella, but I was attending Indio High School at the time, and he was living in Indio going to Coachella Valley High School. So we actually met at our local park. He was there for baseball, and I was actually playing softball for the city. And he actually happened to be a good friend of one of my cousins, and she was the one who... So I've already addressed how we met and how old we were. But I didn't really give you guys the full story of how we met. We did meet at our local park. However, the true story is, the tea is that at the time I actually was dating this boy. We broke up, and as naturally feisty as I am, me and his like new girlfriend had, you know, got into some beef. We were at the park, and anyways, hands were thrown. And to cover my ass from getting in trouble, I ran to my aunt, who was actually at the field that day, and we're like, Tia, like, just pretend like we've been with you this whole time. You know, I wasn't, you know, in trouble anywhere. I've been with you, you know, whatever. And my aunt was actually friends with Marco's mom. And, you know, it happened to end up being me, my cousin, her mom, Marco, and his mom. This happens to be the first time I meet them. Me and Angie, which is Marco's mom, hit it off really well. We're like chit-chatting it up. We're all talking. We're going for a walk. Marco was like super quiet the whole time. I did, you know, notice that he was a cutie, but I didn't say anything because I was kind of cocky. So I was just like, eventually he would come to me, you know. And that day it didn't happen. It's cool. No, you know, no sweat off my back. And then as the weeks went by and we got to know each other, we started like, you know, being very flirtatious. We would like kind of pick on each other and tease each other and stuff. But I didn't think anything serious. Again, I was boy crazy. So I just thought this was just another like little like, you know, fling. And from what I had heard, he was a little heartbreaker himself, and everyone was like in love with him. So I was not looking for this to come to be anything. But that summer, the first Transformers movie came out, and we all wanted to go see it. At the time I lived with my grandma, and she would get like a monthly allowance for me. So I was the one with the cash, and Marco's mom was the one who gave us a ride to the movies, and it ended up being me, my cousin Ashley, and Marco. So we go to this movie. Back then, every Friday night, everyone went to the movies. So we ended up running into like a bunch of friends that we knew, you know, chit-chatting it up with everybody. We went out to eat after, blah, blah, blah. But during the movie, Marco was being very, very annoying. He was doing that like, stretch yawn thing, right? But kept like hitting me in like the head each time he did it. And I remember looking at him like, dude, you need to chill. Like, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Just don't do it again. Literally like a minute later, he would do it again. And he bopped me in the head again. So after this, I finally like just moved seats away from him and my cousin, and I sat alone because I was already like irritated. I'm just like, what is up with this guy? And so I'm sitting by myself. My cousin comes over and she's like, hey, Marco says he's sorry. Like, just come sit with us. He won't bother you. And I was just like, no, it's cool. And then Marco comes around and sits on the other side of me. So at this point, I'm in the middle of my cousin and him. And he's like, hey, like, I'm sorry. Like, I was just messing with you. And I was just like, okay, it's fine. Like, just watch the movie, you know. He does it again. And at this point, I was like so agitated, you guys. so agitated. And I looked at him and like I got like ansias. I was just like, I like grabbed him by his face and I bit the shit out of his cheek, like I bit him. And he was like, what the fuck, like who does that? And I'm just like, well, me, I told you to leave me alone and you wouldn't, and that's what happens. And he just thought like, what the fuck, this girl's crazy. And then he does it again, and this time when I turn to grab him, he kisses me. And I was just like, okay, I love to kiss. So he kissed me, I kissed him back, and next thing we know, it's a make-out session, you know, whatever. Anyways, we think nothing of it. We go home later. My cousin texts me and she's like, hey, like Mark was asking if he should ask you out. And I'm like, no, like it's not that big of a deal. Like it was literally just a kiss. I don't even know him to like date him. And she was just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like weeks go by and I didn't see him for a long time. I don't know if like baseball had ended or what had happened, but I just kind of like didn't see him after that very often, or at all actually. And then my cousin's quinceañera was that November, and we started, you know, naturally months before that you start practicing getting your chambelanes together and stuff like that. So we got all of us together. Marco ends up being her chambelan, and so this is like the first time we see each other in months. And we're having practices at my house because my grandma's boss at the time had a wife who was a choreographer, so she choreographed the quinceañera, and then we would practice at my house. And like at first we were like really shy, like he didn't say hi to me, I didn't say hi to him. It was just kind of like, okay, like whatever, we didn't address anything. And then I think one day we were getting fitted like for our outfits, and he was like sitting in the car all quiet, and I just kind of like waved to him, like he waved back. And like the next time we had practice, he was like, oh, like all of a sudden, like you want to say hi to me? And I'm just like, well, you're coming to my house, so of course I'm like gonna talk to you, you know, I'm not gonna make it weird. How was that? And like as practices kept going, like every couple of days a week, like we would talk, and like after we would all have sessions, like not sessions, but all my friends would come and we would chill in my room and we would just like mess around, like watch TV, like whatever. A lot of my best friends were guys, so we would all just like, you know, like cap on each other, whatever that we did. And we just started to get to know each other. And then the night before the quinceañera, you know, we were all setting up and stuff, and we were just like, oh, we should all go out together, like let's go all see a movie, the whole group, the whole court, like let's go see a movie and you know, celebrate, you know, the quince is basically over, we have tomorrow, then we won't be spending as much time together, you know. So we go to the movies, and that's where Marco asks me to be his girlfriend. And well, yeah, then the rest is history. We've been together ever since. A lot of you guys have asked, like, what is one of the things we've done to make sure that we've stayed together so long and so strong? And I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, it's not rainbows and butterflies. It was not always easy, especially being so young. So at the time, Marco was 14 years old and I was 15 years old. We were going to separate high schools, but at this point, we were kind of living in the same city. He had moved to Coachella. So we were able to see each other more often, like outside of school and things like that. But like starting off so young, like we've been through a lot. You know, we've done things to hurt each other. We've, you know, we leaned on each other during times of hardship, like his own hardship with his family, my own hardship with my family. I know how crazy his family could be. He knows how crazy my family could be. And like still we always leaned on each other. Like I think that's what kept us together, even in the bad times and even in the times where we both thought like this was it. Because there was a lot of those times where we thought, you know, like this is too much, like, you know, we're not happy anymore and things like that. And it seemed like every time we tried to give each other, you know, that kind of space to separate from each other, every single time, it didn't take long for us to pull back together. It's like, no matter what was going on around us or to us, like we knew at the end of the day, like we wanted to endure and grow through everything together, you know, no matter how ugly it might have been or how hurtful we might have been toward each other. We ultimately just wanted to be with each other. And once we had Marquitos, that just got even stronger for us, you know. Again, we still had hardships and we still fought, but even though through all those things, we still like recovered from everything. We still at the end of the day loved each other. We still at the end of the day wanted to come home to each other. And I'm gonna cry, I'm sorry. I'm still gonna include this in the video because like this is like what it's about, you know. And for all that, I'm always gonna be grateful, because out of all the things that we've fought through, so much beautiful things have happened from it. Like our home, our kids, our careers, like we made it this far with each other. You know, if we didn't have each other, who knows where we would have been. And as hurtful and painful as this whole experience of losing him has been, I think I could trust in the fact that we were destined for each other, because we understood each other and each other's lifestyles and background. And no matter how chaotic it got, we still like wanted to experience it together. And sorry, I need to breathe. I'm gonna go on to the next question. I think my eyelash is falling off because my eyes were tearing up so much. Oh my god, yep. I'm gonna fix that. Okay guys, I got myself back together. If my eyeliner is jacked up, mind your business, because I figured I'm not gonna be taking the time to keep fixing my makeup. However, I will re-glue my lashes, but I'm not gonna keep fixing my eyeliner. So like I said, mind your business. I'm probably gonna keep crying, so I'm not gonna do it. Okay, so the question was, who said I love you first? And I said I love you first, kind of by accident. I meant it, but I wasn't ready to say it because it was so early in the relationship, and I was kind of a simp for Marco. I was very, very like in love with him. Still am in love with him. Honestly, my feelings for him have not changed from day one to now. Despite all the obstacles we've hit, I'm still madly in love with that man. But how I said it is, we were talking on the phone. We used to talk on the phone every single night for hours. I don't even know what we would talk about, but we would talk on the phone every night for hours. And we would stay on the phone until one of us fell asleep, or one of us was like so tired and actually said goodnight. 98% of the time, one of us fell asleep first, and eventually the other person hung up. That's how it would happen all the time. This particular night, we were talking on the phone, and I was really tired. And I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but I experience this a lot. When I'm tired, I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. Like, I'll say like the randomest shit that makes no sense, because like my mind is like that tired. And it was like one of those nights he was talking to me. I don't know what we're talking about, but my mind was like somewhere else. I was like tired and loopy. My mind was somewhere else. And we're talking on the phone. I remember like which way I was laying on my bed and everything. We're on the phone, and I remember him saying something. Again, I'm not even really paying attention to what he's talking about. And I was just like, I love you. And he was like, what? And he started like, he like giggled, like he laughed. And I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. And he was like, wait, what? And I was just like, nothing, never mind. Like, I don't know why he said that. And he was like, you love me? And I just started kind of laughing. I was like embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, like I think we had only been together for like 3 weeks. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to seem so stupid right now telling him I love him. But I was just like, yeah, I do. Like, I love you. And he was just like, good. He's like, because I love you too. And that was that. It was over the phone. It was like nothing like crazy planned. I think it just like naturally like came out of us. And I was like relieved that, you know, he said that he loved me back. So that was good. So that's that story. Someone said, hold on, how did you know he was the one? Okay, I guess in the same time that I told him I loved him, he made it so easy. I can't speak for him, obviously, because he's not here, but he made it easy for me to fall for him. It was like everything clicked. Like, I was super comfortable with him, so comfortable that I would eat like a freaking pig and was not worried about how I looked. So comfortable that, you know, we would lay on the bed and watch TV, or lay on the bed or on the sofa, whatever, and we would like be jamming out to the same songs and like singing to each other. That kind of comfortable. Like, just everything about it was super comfortable. Like, I didn't have to like fake any funk about me. It seemed like he was doing the same thing, and I just naturally felt like so comfortable in his presence. I could be myself. It didn't feel judged, and I just felt loved, like, when I was with him. And not just him, like his family. Like I said, me and his mom clicked so well. I was like so in love with her, like as a woman, as a person, as his mom. I was just like, you're so cool, you're the cool mom. Like, it was just like everything about everything just like was so like comforting. Like, his little brothers, his sisters loved me, his dad loved me. Like, I would go over, before I even like started spending the night and stuff, like we would go over to each other's, I'm talking really fast, we would go over to each other's homes and like have dinner. He would make his mom pick me up for everything, to be honest. I'm pretty sure she was probably annoyed because all that damn gas, and why does my son always need this girl around? I understand, because we were so young. But like, they would pick me up to go to the mall. I would go with them to like his little brother's football games out of town, or his sister's cheerleading competitions. Like, he made them take me everywhere, to dinner. Like, when he would get out of school early, he would make his mom pick me up. Like, things like that is how it would be. Like, any chance we had, like, we were together, and it was always like that. Like, meeting his grandparents, mama and papa, like, they were always so welcoming. They were always feeding me and like things like that, you know, like everything just, it was just so easy. Like, I just melted into the family, and he melted into mine. At first, my dad didn't, which was another question about like if our parents liked each other. You know, his parents loved me, and I was a genius, okay? I was a like straight A student at the time. I was involved in sports. I was on honor roll. Like, his mom was impressed, okay? Anyways, my mom, I was living with her at the time, so she didn't meet him right away. However, my grandma did. My grandma liked him. She loved him. The same way his mom was with me and picking me up, my grandma was the same way. His mom and my grandma, we took turns like driving us each back and forth places, and my grandma always let him come over like all the time, and like he went with us to family parties, to dinners, everything. Like, he was there. The first Christmas in 2009, let me tell you guys, we had just started dating November 2009, like officially a couple, and by Christmas he was already at Christmas with me and my family, and I ended up going with him. That's how like easy it was, you know, and how comfortable our parents were with us being together. Let's see, on to the next question. One question is, what are some silly things you guys did together? We did like to sing. We sang all the time. And it's funny because if you guys are from the Valley, you guys know what Neil's is. I love to go to Neil's and people watch and do karaoke. And Marco always acted like all shy, that I was singing in front of people and blah, blah, blah. But when we were home, we were having like like knockout singing competition. Like not all crazy, but like with his family we would do karaoke, and like when we'd be home we'd be like listening to music on our phones and we'd both be like singing and jamming out. Like that was something that we always liked to do, so that was something fun. But I could tell you something disgusting. Marco liked to pick his nose a lot, and he would wipe them on me all the time. I could be making dinner and he'd come to the kitchen and like wipe the biggest booger on my arm while I'm cooking. Yeah, there'll be times when we'd be laying around watching a movie and he'd like pick his nose and rub it on my thigh, and I'm like, bro, at first it was like, it bothered me and it was disgusting, but he did it so often that I was just like, could you get me a tissue? Like I was over it. It was just like something that he always did. So that's something that he did, but I will never tell you anything gross that I did because I'm not gross. This is a really good question, and I wish I had the answer because I wanted to play the song for you guys. Someone asked, what is your guys' song? So there's songs that play that remind me of our relationship, of our, like, you know, the story in the songs that remind me of our relationship. But as far as like songs that like we've dedicated to each other, I don't think I've ever dedicated a song to him. I mean, I probably have, but I don't remember. However, I have sang the song X Factor by Lauryn Hill to him at Neil's. It's kind of like a love-hate song, you know, like I love you, but if you're gonna hurt me, leave me alone kind of thing. But so I was saying that song to him and everyone knows. But a long time ago when we were in high school, he dedicated a song to me called Miss Perfect. And I kept trying to find it, and the only one I could find on YouTube was the one by SPM, but it's not the song that I'm looking for because the lyrics are completely different. So if ever I come to the song, I will let you guys know, because I know it's not by SPM, but I can't find it. So when I do, I will let you guys know. It's basically a really pretty song, just saying like how good of a girl I am. Well, the person he wrote it for, but like he was dedicating it to me. So like what good of a girl he got, and like how understanding and my ride or die. That's kind of like what the song is. It's by like a Latin group, like an NV Writers kind of thing, but it's not by SPM, and I can't find it. But when I do, I'll let you guys know. Let's see. A lot of you guys asked a lot of the same questions. So someone asked, what was my favorite thing about Marco? And I have to say his smile. No question that he was completely charming. He charmed his way to my heart and to my pants whenever he wanted. But yeah, super charming. But my favorite thing look-wise about him is his smile. I always love his smile, his laugh. And then as far as personality, I love how loving and unjudgmental he was. Like we would gossip together, and like, you know, he would get caught up in my gossip, but like he never like really judged anybody, and I love that about him. Like he was always neutral about a lot of things. Like he never really tried to put himself like in situations that didn't need to involve him. And like again, he was always a very neutral person, and always a little bit more, I won't say more grounded, but when it came to like my pettiness, he knew how to like ground me. Like, you need to chill, Jazz, you know, like, and that's what I loved about him, that, you know, he did that for me. Let's see. So you guys wanted to know about like finding out about our pregnancies. So with Marquitos was not planned. He was not. I was 19 at the time and Marco was 18. We had just graduated high school. He had just graduated high school like that summer, and I had graduated the summer before. So 2013 was when we got pregnant. I believe it was about summer of 2013 was when I found out I was pregnant, and he had just graduated, like literally I think like 2 or 3 months before that. And I had graduated in 2012. Like I said, I'm a year older than him. So we were like we were freshly out of high school. During this summer, like we were both like partying hard. Like Mark was doing a lot of partying, I was doing a lot of partying. And I guess God told us that we needed to chill a little bit, or me, I guess. I was pretty ratchet. Like, I think I was like out partying and drinking and all that from like Thursday through Tuesday. Wednesday was a chill day, and then we'd start all over again. Like, I was a little crazy. And I remember the day we found out I was pregnant, I was over at Marco's house, and I had slept over, and the next morning I had planned to go have like a girls' day with one of my best friends. And I, you know, got ready at his house, left. I was like, hey babe, like I'll be back a little later, like, you know, I have this and this to do today, I already have plans. All right, he was asleep. I was up early to go meet my girlfriend for breakfast. We didn't even make it past breakfast, because we got to breakfast, we went to Denny's, and I remember ordering like this big breakfast, right? I ordered this big breakfast, and they brought it to my table, and I was like so ready to eat it, and I looked at it, and I remember feeling, I'm talking really fast. I remember feeling so disgusted, like, ew, this is disgusting, why did I order this? Like, I just felt an icky stomach, like an icky feeling in my stomach. And so I was just like, okay, I decided not to eat. I just kind of sipped on my juice, and by like a few minutes into our breakfast, like I'm having like really bad like abdominal pains, like really bad cramps. So I'm letting her know, like, dude, I don't think I'm gonna stick it out for this day. Like, I'm in pain to the point where I just want to like curl over. That's the kind of like cramps I was having, like really painful, like where I didn't want to stand or anything. So like we're walking to our cars, and just across the street from this Denny's is the In-N-Out. And I remember like stepping outside and smelling the Denny's and the In-N-Out, and like wanting to throw up. Like, this is gross. And again, my stomach is hurting, and my friend's like, well, can we at least make it down the street to this store? I want to find shoes. So we go to the store, and I'm literally like leaned over in a chair while my friend, while my friend is shopping for shoes. And I was just like, you know what, I can't do this. I'm gonna have to go. Like, we're gonna have to rain check on this. So I go back to Marco's, and I'm telling him like how horrible I'm feeling, and you know, whatever. And he's just like, well, are you pregnant? And I'm just like, why would I be pregnant? Mind you, we had been together at this point already for 5 years, 4.5, 5, and we had never had a scare, like a pregnancy scare, ever. So I was just like, that was just kind of weird. Like, the question ever came up ever in our relationship, ever, like none of it. So it was just kind of like, obviously we talked about kids, but as far as pregnancy scares, never came up. So I was just like, no, like, why would I be pregnant? Hi, Marquitos. I'm like, why would I be pregnant? And I was just like, well, I am a week late, but I'm not worried. My pattern used to be like a little irregular, so I didn't really trip about it. And he was just like, I was just like, let's just take a nap. Like, when I wake up, we'll see how I feel. We take a nap, and we wake up, and he's like, I think you should get a pregnancy test. And I'm looking at him like, wait, why? Like, to this day, I think he trapped me. I'm not gonna lie, because I was just like, no way. I was just like, well, I'm not about to spend $20 on a pregnancy test. Yes, with you. I'm telling the story. We go to Planned Parenthood, and you know, they take my urine sample, whatever, and I'm waiting for them to call me back. And at this point, it feels like forever. You know, they finally call me back, and the lady sits me down, is just like, okay, you're 6 weeks pregnant. I didn't hear anything she said after that. I was just like, oh shit, like I am pregnant. Like I really did not expect to hear pregnant at all, like at all. I was very shocked. She kept talking and I was kind of just like, wait, can we call in my boyfriend? And so Marco comes in. I wish I would have looked at his face, but I think I was too scared that I didn't. But the lady like is talking to Marco and she's like, so your girlfriend is pregnant. She's 6 weeks along. And I could just hear Marco's voice like so calm. And he's just like, oh, okay. And then, you know, they're talking and I'm thinking like, oh my God, why is he so calm? She finishes talking. At this point, I honestly don't remember. She gives me some paperwork, whatever. I guess just saying that I'm pregnant and blah, blah, blah. Marquitos. Sorry, you guys. Being very nosy today. So we leave. We get in the car. And I'm just like wanting to cry. I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm pregnant. Like, and Marco like looks at me. He's just like, why are you so like worried? Like, so he's like, what's the issue? And I'm just like, I'm just, you know, worried. He's just like, we have friends who have kids and we have more than they do already. He's like, we're gonna be fine. He's like, don't worry. Like, he was so calm. And because he was so calm, he in return soothed me at this. So after that, I was just like, all right, cool. We're having a baby. Like, after that, I was like excited about it. You know, I think just like naturally, like you see in movies and you know, you hear of stories of like, you know, the baby daddy is like so against someone, like so against having a baby and like they're immature and not ready. But Marco was like, he was ready. I remember we went for a walk that day when we got home and we walked our dog Beast. If you guys have seen my Instagram or snaps, you guys have seen him before. He's a blue nose. Anyways, we went for a walk and we were just like, he was just telling me like how excited he is to have a baby and, you know, that he's excited that, you know, we're having a baby together. And, you know, at the time his grandpa was sick. He suffered from COPD and we had already saw the signs that he was, you know, getting worse. And Marco was just like, I'm ready. He's like, I want Papa to be able to like know my kids and, you know, and see them. And I want my kids to know him. And he's like, so I'm really excited. Like the timing is perfect. He's like, I could just see my grandpa getting sicker and you know, the timing couldn't be better. So I think all of that in return just like, you know, really soothed me. And, you know, now we have Marquitos. The news was shocking to our parents. Obviously, my mom cried. His mom cried. His dad was emotional. My dad, on the other hand, I thought my dad was gonna flip. My dad was like so over the moon happy. He wasn't always around when we were kids, so I think he was like excited to like make up for lost time like with our kid. So he was like over the moon happy. He like picked me up and spun me around, like so happy. He was also drunk, so maybe he was already happy from all that. But anyways, as far as Michael, we actually planned him. We told our family like the beginning of last year, like, you know, we're ready to have another baby, like we're gonna start. And when we first brought it up, we weren't like actually starting, but we did like let everybody know like, hey, like, you know, like we plan to have another baby like by next year. You know, we hadn't officially started yet. I was still on birth control, so I was waiting to, you know, finish up my year of birth control. And then after that, I wasn't gonna refill it anymore and like, you know, try for this baby. I downloaded an ovulation app, and I stayed on it. I kept track of every single thing. If you're a girl, then you know what those things are that you have to keep track of as far as lady body functions go. I had to keep track of everything and write down every time, you know, like we did the deed. I had to write that down and like everything. So like I took note of everything, and it didn't take long until we were pregnant. And actually I knew I was pregnant like from day one, because I just automatically felt a change in my body. Like I just felt it. And then 2 weeks later, I was exhausted all the time. And then actually November of last year was when we found out I was pregnant. On November 29th, we found out that I was pregnant with the baby. And I actually have the pregnancy test put away in our baby's box. And Marco didn't know yet, because every single time I felt sick or anything, like anything bothered me, I was told Marco, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant. And then when then my period would come, and it was kind of like, oh fuck, I'm not pregnant, you know. So this time it was like I knew, but I didn't want to tell him yet. Like I was just like, no, let me just wait, because I always tell him and then I end up not being pregnant. So I waited until I missed my period, and at this point in my life, my period is like on track. Like it never fails. Like it's like right on time every single time. And when my period symptoms didn't come up, you know, like the cravings and the bloating and all that didn't come up the days before, I had already knew. I was like, I'm pregnant. The day that my period was supposed to come, it didn't come. The next day it didn't come, and I was just like, yep, I'm pregnant. I brought a pregnancy test, but the lines were faint. So the next day I went and bought a digital test, and it said pregnant. I really wanted to do like something like over the top to tell Marco, but he was already on his way home from work, and it was a Friday night. Marco worked as an electrician, so Monday through Friday he was in Newport, and then he would come home Wednesday nights and Friday nights. So Wednesdays he would come Wednesday night, you know, stay for dinner, and then the next morning he would leave back to work, and then Friday he would come home again and stay for the weekend until the following Monday. So he was already on his way home, and I'm just like, what can I do like to kind of like make it a surprise but not like super overwhelming, you know? So I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it in the restroom on the toilet, because every time he comes home from work, he likes, you know, have dinner and he takes a shower, or, you know, showers and dinner, whatever. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna leave it in the restroom, because when he gets home, eventually he's gonna go to the restroom and shower or whatever, and he'll see it. So he comes home, we're like, you know, we're talking, we're cuddling, we're laying in the bed talking, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna take a shower real quick. And I'm like, okay. So like we're still talking, and he's like walking towards the restroom. We're still talking like through the hallway, and then he goes to the restroom, and like he turns the water on to the shower, and we're still talking, and then it gets quiet, and I'm like, oh shit, he found it. You know, he found it. And like I'm still like talking, like saying whatever I was talking about to him, and I didn't say anything, and he's like, babe. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, he like comes out of the restroom, and he's like, did you see this? Because it says pregnant on the stick. And I'm like, yeah, I saw it. And he was just like so you weren't gonna tell me, you know, like you weren't gonna say anything? And I was just like, I left it so you could find it. And he was just like he was speechless, like he didn't know what to say. And he like hugged me. He's like, how do you feel? I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of scared now, like this is real, like we're gonna have 2 kids. And he's just like, I told you, because like a lot of it was just like, how are we gonna have 2 kids? Like when we were planning, like we were kind of scared, but we're just like, no timing is gonna be perfect. Like why wait for the perfect timing, you know? Like let's just do it, you know, like we're ready, like, you know, let's just do it. So once I seen it, I got a little overwhelmed. I was like, oh my God, like we're gonna have 2 kids, like 2 babies, like how am I gonna do this, you know? Like, and he was just like, see, did I tell you were gonna feel that way? I was just like, no, because this is still what I want. Like, don't, you know, chill. And he was just like, all right. He's like, okay. He went to take a shower, and I guess he had, you know, a good shower where he like, you know, washed off a little of that like anxiousness and fear, because like I was in the kitchen cooking, and like the next thing I know, he's, you know, he's out of the shower, he's dressed, and he like comes to the kitchen, and like I'm chopping whatever. I don't know what I was chopping. I was chopping something, you know, for dinner. And he was like, he came, and he just like slowly like came and like put his arm around the small of my back, and he just like looked at me, and I looked at him, and he kissed me, and then he kissed me on the neck, and he grabbed my butt, and he was just like, I'm happy. He's like, I'm excited. And I was just like, good, me too. Because like it's scary, like to add another, you know, child, like another life to worry about. So I think the initial shock and fear like hit us in those first couple minutes, and then like it washed away. And like it was just like the first time where he was calm, so it calmed me, like it soothed me. Like it was like the same thing but in a different way, you know. Like, so it was like really exciting. Like we kept it to ourselves for as long as we could, for about a month, if that. I think it was only like 2 or 3 weeks, because this was just a couple days after Thanksgiving that we found out. And then my birthday was on the 9th of December, and naturally, like, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to drink and, you know, whatever for my birthday. And I was just always so tired. Like I couldn't even hang. Like the night of my birthday and the night before, I didn't go out. I went to sleep because I was so tired. Like that first trimester, I was always exhausted. Like by 6 p.m. I was ready to call it a day, you know. Like, so I didn't do anything for my birthday, and my mom was getting kind of suspicious. She's like, why didn't you go out for your birthday? Like, what the heck? And me and Marco's mom have the same birthday, and my suegra, yeah, we have the same birthday. So she like gives me the soles from Mexico, the Clamato, the Sol, the beer. And she's like, hey, look what I got us. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, but I'm not going to drink it, you know, like, and so it was like hard to keep it a secret. We ended up telling everybody on my birthday that I was pregnant, because when we went to lunch for my birthday, and my dad started buying me shots, and I'm looking at everybody, and I'm looking at Marco like, do I take this shot right now? Like, because if I don't, people are going to know that I'm pregnant. A couple of my friends had already known, because I had told them like, hey, like heads up, like if you get me a drink, make sure it's a virgin, you know, or like if someone orders me a drink, let the bartender know like, hey, like don't, you know, no alcohol for her. So I had to kind of tell them so they could help me out, but it didn't work because my dad sent over shots to the table, and I'm looking at Marco like, oh my God, like do I tell him? I'm like texting him like, do I tell them I'm pregnant? Because we didn't really want to tell anybody until we had like our first ultrasound, and I was only like 5 weeks probably, and it was like really early to like announce something like that, you know. So but it came down to it that I was on the spot, and I was just kind of like, you guys, I can't take this shot right now because I'm pregnant. Like that was literally how it went, and everyone thought I was joking. Like everyone knew we were trying, but they thought I was joking. And Marco, they looked at Marco like, is she serious? And then Marco's like, yeah, like she's pregnant. And that was it. And that was like my lunch with my family for my birthday. Then we went over to his mom's for, you know, to celebrate with her for her birthday also. And that's when she pulled out the beer. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm telling Marco, like, we're gonna have to tell him too. And it's like, do you want to tell him? He's just like, if you want to. And I'm just like, all right. So I'm gonna play like this video for you guys. Oh, do I have it? I sent it to Marco. Yes, I do. Hold on. We were, what was I saying? Oh, so we're getting ready to take a picture. The kids were taking a picture with his mom, you know, for her birthday, a group photo. And Marco, he's like, here, take the picture. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, watch this. And I kind of like pulled this little trick on them, and I'll show you guys. Let's see if I can show you guys in this. It's gonna be a little hard to see because of the ring light, but
Baby, happy birthday! Coming in August. What? I'm 5 weeks pregnant. You're lying.
so that was a good one. I'm gonna cry again. Oh my God. It's just so crazy that it's been that long. As you can see in the video, everyone was like really happy and excited. It was kind of like a matter of time, you know, that we either got married or had a baby. So, and we chose to have a baby. So, I was really excited and obviously really happy, and so was everybody else. So that was good, you know. That's how we kind of announced it with Michael. I'm gonna pause the next question so I don't keep crying. I think I mostly addressed a lot of your guys' questions. I think I'm just gonna like talk to you guys for a little bit now. But I actually poured myself some wine because I need it. I'm just gonna say, you know, it sucks that this is supposed to be like a really like happy time and a season like full of good feelings, and it's just been really hard. Do I want to be celebrating by myself? No. But I don't really have a choice at this point. I always say, like, it's still the beginning. Like, this pain is still early on. Like, it's still coming. Like, hasn't even been a year yet. And it's been a lot, you know, a lot on my heart. And all I can say is that I'm really thankful to have met Marco and to have known him and to grow up with him and build a family with. I truly wouldn't be who I am today without him. You know, in both, in life and in death, you know, like his life made me who I am, and his death has made me who I am also. Do I wish I had to be this strong? No, because I wouldn't wish this weight on anybody. But when you have kids, you don't really have a choice but to keep pushing for them and keep living for them and keep laughing for them. And I just, you know, I want to say thank you to everyone who's shown so much support and so much love and so much understanding to me and my family. And thank you for wanting to get to know a little bit more of our story and know a little bit more about our love. Cheers to 10 years. I hope you guys have a good night.